Welcome to another episode of Quick Tips with Kris. In this episode, we're going to look at how to create an application file to clone behaviors from one receiver to another. In this instance, we're going to make the receiver automatically start logging static data upon startup. So the first thing we have to do throughout this whole process is to log into the Wi-Fi being transmitted from the receiver. I'll click on the internet settings in the taskbar, and then you can see we have Trimble GNSS 0162. I'll go ahead and click connect. Then I'll open a browser. And then I'm going to type in the URL for the receiver. That address is 192.168.142.1. And when we hit enter, you can see that this shows that it's an R10 and the serial number of the R10. One thing to mention that 0162 in the Trimble GNSS 0162, the last four digits are the serial number. With R10s, the username is always admin and it's all lowercase. And the password is password, once again, all lowercase. Now with R10-2s and R12s, there's a different password structure you have to go by. Rather than the password being password, you have to change it to at least a medium security password. I'll go ahead and hit OK, and that allows us to log in. So since we're trying to make this where it all starts up as logging as soon as you start the receiver, we'll come up and choose data logging. So the first one that's already there says default. It's manual and it's disabled. We're going to be setting a new session. We'll call it static. We're going to enable it. And instead of setting the schedule as continuous, we're going to set it to always. That means anytime the receiver started up, it's automatically going to start collecting static data. Now, if you're collecting data for a survey, you can leave the measurement interval at 15 seconds. For other surveys where you have to correct an IMU, like mobile mapping or a drone survey, you need to set this interval to 1 second. The path, naming style, FTP push, and email push, we can leave those alone. Now we can click OK. So once it processes, right now you can see that it's already logging and it's enabled. And if you look at the receiver, you'll see there's a little down arrow with a line under it. That arrow lit up means that it is logging. So the next step is to click on receiver configuration, then on application files. We can click the drop-down menu and select Generate Clone File. And I want to clone the data logger configuration. We need to give it a name. I'll call it static_startup. Just so we know what the intended function is. And we'll also check the box for all user-created application files. And then we can click OK. Now you see that it's generating the clone file. Now we need to download the clone file. So we'll click the drop down and choose Download Clone File. And you can see the file being downloaded is static startup.xml. I'll click OK. And now the file's been downloaded. If I open the downloads folder on my workstation, I can see the file. Now I keep a folder on my desktop called clone files, just so I know where any clone files are. I'll drag and drop that there and then close the two folders. And that's about it for generating the clone file. So now we need to connect to the other receiver. Once again, we'll click on Internet Settings, and we can see the 0162 that's there. But now we need to connect to the GNSS 2769. So we'll connect to that, and then we will reload the page. And in this instance, we need to click on Refresh. Then once it refreshes, we can see that we are connected to receiver 2769. Since this is an R10 as well, I can go ahead and set the username and password and click OK. This time we just have to go into Application Files and click the drop down and select Upload and Install Clone File. Next we have to choose what file is going to be uploaded. Remember, we're going to browse to the desktop, the Clone Files folder, and static startup.xml. So we can see now that static startup.xml file is chosen, and click OK. A message opens up that says a clone file has been successfully uploaded. Please reboot the receiver to take effect. And we can click OK. Now, you don't want to do a hard 30-second reboot of your R10. That basically takes and erases everything and takes it back to factory. Instead, what we'll do is click Reset and Reboot Receiver. We get a message asked, are we sure? And tell it yeah, and tell it okay. So now it's going through the process of the reboot. So now it's finished rebooting. I need to go down to the taskbar and connect to receiver 2769. So now we need to refresh the page, and we need to log in again. We'll log in one more time just to check that everything's set up correct. We'll click on data logging, and we can see that static is in fact logging, and it's set to always log. And that's about all there is to it. This has been the process for creating an application file that clones behaviors from one receiver to another. There is one thing that needs to be remembered about application files. When you start a survey with Trimble Access, the application file will be superseded. Access forces the application file to stop in order to run normally. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Remember to come back next time for more Quick Tips with Kris.